I need to adjust the drain for my Panda washing machine. And it's a little bit of a issue, but we'll get her. Just gotta tuck some stuff back and get it to go where I kind of want it to go. There we go. So the drain for the Panda, I kind of have it wrapped around this bucket, so when it comes out it's going to kind of go into this corner into my shower area. And I have it on normal right now, so we're going to flip on. I'm going to flip the washer time onto about 12 minutes. I think that will be plenty for what we're going to be using it for. So we're going to go ahead, turn that on 12, and then the washer's going to start up and start agitating, and that will mix all that soap and baking soda into the laundry. As you can see, my clothes were fairly dirty, so definitely needed a wash. So it's going to run and get my clothes nice and clean off the grid. Keep that shut. And then I will transfer and show you guys the spin dryer feature on this Panda washing machine. Here's the model number in case you guys want to look it up. Got this guy off of Amazon, and it's pretty good for off the grid. It uses more water than your conventional, more modern washing machine, the high-end ones that you see, the HE ones that you buy at any big box store. But considering I have a lot of rainwater to use up that I get for free, that I harvest off the roof, it works out just fine and dandy for me. So we're going to head over to the solar, and I'm going to show you exactly how much power it's actually taking to run this. But before I do that, I just want to show you my rain catchment setup for a minute. I have the water comes out from the gutter here down this pipe. This is my first flush system. You can look those up. And then I have my own little DIY filter system that I made up that transfers and filters the water into the lower tank. And then I have a 12-volt pump that I use to pump up to the top tank as a storage, because this is nice and high and it's nice high pressure for gravity feed where I don't need a pump. So I'm basically only transferring water up one time up to here, and then the rest of the time I control it via a bunch of valves and at each sink. So I'm gonna let this sucker run. Looks like we're building up some suds in there. Not too shabby. Just doing a good job. Well, let's go take a look at the solar. See exactly how far the machine is draining me down. It's super efficient actually. I'm still sitting at 13.1 and climbing. So it's not even putting a dent in my off-grid solar setup. Now, I have 6 100-watt monocrystalline panels in series, wired in series, feeding this MPPT charge controller. And it's running on a single 12-volt, 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery, which is then wired into, obviously, 100 or 1,000 watts pure sine wave inverter. And this actually will tell us, when the motor kicks on, it'll tell us the loads that we're pulling, that motor's pulling. So you hear it cycle, you hear see my LED flash for a second. It's using 3.3 amps momentarily, as you can see there. So, you know, it kind of comes on, runs for a little bit, shuts off. It doesn't run continuous, so it's not sucking 3 amps continually. It's kind of off on type of situation. And you can notice my lights kind of flicker out when the motor kicks in. A slight, they're LEDs, but you notice a slight flicker because they are on the same load center as everything else. So pretty interesting. I can show you what the solar's bringing in. 8.7 amps into the battery, and the battery is sitting at 80% and going back up and down fairly quickly because of the continuous on-off operation of the setup there. So I'm just going to kill some lights, and then that way we don't have too much of a nonsense issue going on. So the timer's already down to 6 minutes, and that's basically the on-off control for it. Is you just set your time, it will start ticking and kick on the power on and off as it goes. I'm sure on heavy it would stay on agitating more continuously than it would be on normal. And then once that's done, I got to go ahead and knock it over to drain, and it's going to drain all the water out of this washer section. And then what I have to do is transfer the clothes into the spin washer section and add a little bit more water for when this spin dries, and that'll help knock off any other soap particles, whatever. But with my mixture of soap, it's not too heavy on the suds. It's more of a deep cleaning. You can see there that water is got fairly dirty off of that clothing. So the clothes were definitely needed to be done. And then I have one more load to do here in this garbage bag of clothes, and then we'll be good. So I'll give you updates as we go, guys, once it finishes, and we'll see you guys in a bit. Alrighty, guys, so what's going on is my washing cycle's done, and I'm pretty happy with that. I just want to show you down in there. We got some minor suds going on. So what we're going to do now is we're going to throw this on to drain. And as you can see, all the nasty's running down into my shower. And that's going to drain out and clean kind of my shower basin as well, because it was in much need of a cleaning anyway. So it's clean. It's going to empty that totally. And then we're going to be sweet once this thing is totally dry and drained. And we're getting close here, guys. Sounds like it's getting rid of most of the water here. It's kind of getting into the laboring mode where it's running out of juice. Getting down to the nitty-gritty. Still quite a bit of water coming out of there, though. Sounds like it's getting right to the end. It's pushing whatever it can, but I think that's about it. So we're gonna shut that off. Let's see, is it still pouring out? Never mind, it's still pouring out some water. I'll shut it off once I'm totally satisfied that I don't see any water coming out. But that little pump seems to do fairly well getting rid of that water. And the more I get out of the system, the better, because then I don't have any spillage or leftovers after the fact. It's pretty much there, guys. Because I don't want the... I try to baby the motor so it doesn't labor it too much. And I think that's pretty much as far as that thing's going to go. So I'm going to flip that back to normal. And now we get to go into the process of drying. So we got to spin dry these clothes now. And down inside of here, there's this little basket that goes on top of the clothes once they go in. But I'll show you. This is the spin drying basket. So I basically transfer the clothes into that and put that little plastic cover on that I just showed you guys. And that will rinse out these clothes. Now, for the drying part, I can't put too much into the basket, so it takes a little bit. So I gotta kind of do it in 2 sections, so that's probably plenty for what I want to do. Maybe one more sock. And so we'll put the cover on, and I'll kind of squish it down, and then I'll cover this lid. And what I want to do is there's a spin timer, and I normally put this on the maximum. You guys see this? This is the spin timer, and I'll put this on the max, and what I have to do is I have to hook up the hose, the same hose we used for washing the clothes with. We're now going to hook it back up so it will allow some water in here to just rinse everything off as it's spinning away. So we're going to do that here shortly, and I'll get back to you with that video.